Yesterday in episode 3, we talked about like kind of setting up the ghost room, figuring out what kind of ghost it is. In episode 4 today, we're going to talk about working off some of the optional objectives, and then we're going to quickly go over how to fill the book. So I've got the ghost room set up. We're pretty much down to a demon or shade. We kind of just need one more piece of evidence to go, but our optional objectives. So you could have three of a possible 12. So we have to blow out a candle. We got to get a ghost to walk through salt. We have to find evidence of the paranormal with the EMF reader. You could also possibly have capture a ghost with the photo. Cleanse the area near the ghost using smudge sticks. And then basically discovering what type of ghost it is, which is what you're doing in your initial investigation. Get your average sanity below 25%. So that's not personal, that's average. So if you're playing by yourself, obviously it's your sanity. If you're playing in a group, you have to make sure that the whole average group drops below 25. So if you have one person that likes to stay in the van and kind of like watch cameras and stuff for you, at some point they're gonna have to come into the house just for a little bit, just to bleed their sanity down a little bit. Then if the other three people stay in and bleed their sanity down to 0, you'll be able to get it. With 3 people, obviously, if one stays in the van with full sanity, you're only going to get to 33, so then all 3 of you guys are going to have to come in. But yeah, that's kind of how you work through your average sanity. Then you could possibly have getting a member to escape the ghost, witnessing a ghost event. So ghost event is when, say for instance, like the ghost pops up, the ghost walks towards you, you get a singing event, a mist event, a red light event, stuff like that. That's kind of stuff you're going to be dealing with the ghost event. Then the other one possibly could be getting the ghost, preventing the ghost from hunting with a crucifix. And then lastly but not least is repelling the ghost while it's hunting. So what I'll kind of do when we're setting up the ghost room is, or trying to fill the book and stuff, I'll take everything in as though we have all the optional objectives. The only different thing is we won't be repelling it, cleansing it, or repelling it or escaping. What I'm going to do is once we kind of figure out what the ghost is, we'll just kind of talk about the optional objectives, stuff like that, and then we'll end this episode. The next episode will actually talk more about repelling the ghost, escaping the ghost, stuff like that. So we've got cameras and stuff in there already. There's an EMF detector in because we've already used it to set up the ghost room. So we are going to take in salt and UV light. So in order to see the footsteps, you're going to need the UV light. The UV light can also be used to see fingerprints. One thing you can also do is, so if you go into the house and you see a door open, you can actually take the photo of the door. So say we're inside the house and this door opens. If you snap a photo so that you can kind of get about this general area of the door, you always want to make sure you have the door handle, but kind of like this square general area. Snapping a photo of a door like that never hurts, because if the door opens, snapping a picture, at worst you're going to get an interaction photo. If the ghost gives fingerprints, it'll count as a fingerprint photo. So you're kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So you don't really even need a UV light. Oh, just turned off the lights. He's bored with me. So yeah, like if you're walking around with the camera and you hear or see a door open, you can snap a photo. Possibly you could get fingerprints. if you see an object move or yeah, an object move, a light switch turn off or on, then you can actually take a picture of that as well. So the ghost is actually moving this door. So I'll show you guys what I mean right now. So we'll drop all this. So with the UV, you can check it touched this door, take a picture. Didn't touch this door, it only checked this one. So now when you come to your book, when you look at evidence, so see it touched this door. This is kind of what you want to capture in the photo range. But because we took a picture of the door, it didn't show fingerprints. There's a chance that we can probably cross off fingerprints. The only ghost you have to be careful with is an obaki, because the obaki has the ability to wipe its fingerprints. So you kind of have to be a little bit mindful of that. So if you take a picture of a door and it shows as interaction, maybe don't always just wipe off fingerprints. If it's later on, because we've already crossed off obaki, then if we take a picture of a door and it shows up as an interaction, then you can probably cross off fingerprints. So we're going to lay this salt down. Pick up a UV light. Grab one of the fuller cameras. So one thing you kind of want to be mindful of, so if you're not taking the footprint photos, always make sure you put down the UV light, because your view isn't the same view that I'm going to see. So even though you're standing and shining the UV light at the footprints, in my screen it might look like you're shining the UV light at the ceiling. So even though you're looking at it like this, saying, oh, here are the footprints, take the pictures, I might not be seeing you shining your flashlight at the footprints. You might be shining it over at the van or something. So you want to kind of be mindful of that. So if someone's taking footprint photos and you're holding the UV, just drop it for them so that they can actually use it to take the photos. So we did fill the book. We were lucky enough to fill the book with footprint photos. So you can see in the book it crossed off get the ghost to walk through salt. Also, because the EMF detector was going off, it's also crossed off the EMF one as well. So all we really have to do for this one is get the candle. So we're gonna go out, we'll grab a candle. So what you can do, you can light a candle in here and take it in with you. One thing you want to be cautious of though is if it's raining outside. If you have the candle in your hand when you walk out here, it will extinguish your flame. But what I usually do is I'll take a candle and a lighter in with me, because you'll also know that there's other candles inside the house. So like in Tanglewood, there's a candle here. There's also a candle in the master bedroom in that back corner. So if you bring a lighter in, there is a possibility that you can have more than one with only bringing one in. So for here, you just kind of want to set these in a general area. In a room, you can set them on a desk or a bed. You won't burn down the bed. I don't. Although some people would like to burn the house with the ghost, but so you just kind of want to spread these out. You can, like I said, you can either use the candles that are in the house, or you can keep going back out to the van and bring more candles in. That's up to you, but I usually like bringing one in. I'll bring a lighter in with me, and then I'll just kind of grab the other one. So we'll set those up. Then you can kind of ask to, yeah, see there. So the ghost already blew out the candle. So you'll kind of, if you're holding the candle or you're near the candle, you'll actually hear the ghost, the candle, and then you'll see the smoke come out. The candles do expire on their own. So so if we put this candle down, we go out to the van and we come back in a little while and the candle's out. That doesn't necessarily mean that the candle or the ghost blew the candle out. The candle may have expired on its own. So then at that point, you'll want to check the book just to make sure that the ghost actually did blow out the candle for you. So now that we've got those in, so I'll kind of show you two, like with the crucifixes, we'll bring those in, so we'll bring in the motion detectors. I'll bring in a motion detector, I'll bring in a crucifix, just to kind of show you. So depending on the room size, crucifixes, preventing the ghost from hunting with the crucifix can be challenging. Because the radius of a crucifix is so small. So for instance in here, if I set this crucifix down here, it's going to cover basically kind of like this radius right here. So if the ghost spawns over here, that crucifix isn't going to prevent it from hunting. So what you kind of want to do, what I usually do, is I'll set one in this corner, and then I'll set one in this corner, and then you wait. And so if you're hiding, say if you're hiding in the dark, you bring your sanity down, the ghost hunts. Without eating the crucifix, you know the crucifixes are in the wrong spot. So then you either have to come in and move them, or if you don't really feel like playing around with them and moving them, just be like, oh, you know what, I didn't get it this time. But what I'll usually do is, like I said, I'll set them across from each other, and then when I move this one, I'd pick it up and move it halfway down. Same with this one over here, I'd grab it, move it halfway up. Then if it still doesn't work, then I'd move this one up here, and then I'd move this one to the back corner. Then if that still doesn't work, then I'll put one here and one in the front. So you want to kind of just quadrant your crucifixes around. It does make it easier the smaller the room, because obviously, like say a room like this, the ghost there isn't a lot of space for a ghost to really spawn in here. So like if you would put a crucifix here and here, just because the room's smaller, there's a very good chance that it's going to work. Also too, for the motion detector, sometimes the motion detectors can be a little hard to get. So like you put this one here, but say the ghost always walks over here, or you put it over here and the ghost always walks over here. One thing you can do is if you put a pile of salt just in front of this motion detector, so if all of a sudden the motion detector's here, it'll come out to almost where the van is. So then if you put a salt pile, if the ghost steps in salt, you'll get both. You'll get the motion detector and walking through salt. So it's kind of just a little way to trick the ghost, I guess, into getting one of the objectives. Or if it's in a room like this, because it's smaller, you could probably just put it in the middle and it would do the same thing. One thing with the motion detectors though, you want to be mindful of, some of the ghosts do crawl. So putting a motion detector here might not pick up a ghost that's crawling here. So like you can see here, it's not picking me up. Yet when I walk by it, let's just put it lower. To see, yet when I walk by it, I'm within range of it. What I usually do is I'll put them a couple feet off the floor, just so that if it is a crawling ghost, you're going to be able to pick it up. Because like I said, if they're high up, you might not, the ghost might actually not even trigger the motion detector. For the photo can be tricky. If you have a ghost event, you can try to take a picture of the ghost. If you have the music box or summoning circle, the summoning circle is probably the easiest of the cursed items to get the music or the photo of the ghost. The summoning circle will also give you a ghost event. The music box as well will give you a ghost event, but you have to be careful with the music box, because say if the ghost is in the garage, we'll cover this all more in detail when they do the cursed objects, but you'd actually start playing the music box here until you actually hear the ghost appear, and then you'd set it down. The ghost will walk over, shut off the music box, and then the cursed hunt will start. So at the time it's walking to the music box, you could actually take a picture of it. So it'll get you the photo, and it'll get you to get you your ghost event too. But so that basically covers a lot of the optional objectives. Like we covered in episode 1, most of the stuff on the left hand side is for the optional objectives. So like your candles, your smudge sticks, salt, sound sensors, crucifix. Parabolic works pretty much just like any other device. So when you come into the house, if you right click, if you're using default settings, it'll turn the parabolic on. Then when you walk through the house, anything that registers is sounds that are being picked up by the ghost. Take a listen and see if we... Most of the time, like, you'll hear a footstep, you'll hear the ghost interact with something. You can also, there's a chance that you can hear the ghost talking. Like I said, the banshee will actually, at some point, if you persistent enough, will give you the banshee wail. But yeah, it's just like anything else. You can just right click to turn it on, right click to turn it off. You'll also want to remember too that when the ghost is hunting, you want to make sure that all electronics are off. If you're holding a picture camera, you're going to want to make sure that you drop it. And you're also going to want to make sure that your flashlight is off. So if you have your flashlight on, the ghost is going to come directly for you. For cleansing, so cleansing the ghost, you have 2 options. The first option is you can actually cleanse the ghost room. The second option is you can wait till the ghost hunts. So say if you have escaped the ghost, or if you have repelled the ghost while it's hunting, by smudging the ghost or repelling the ghost while it's hunting will also take care of the cleanse objective. If you don't have to escape the ghost when it's hunting and you want to get the objective, you can just come in with a smudge stick and cleanse the ghost room. How it'll work is from the minute you light the candle or the smudge stick to the minute the smudge stick goes out, that's where your smudging registers. So if I start smudging here and walk over to here, if the smudge stick goes out on this side, I've smudged this area and I've smudged this area. The smudging isn't while I'm walking, so you want to be mindful of that. So sometimes when you smudge a larger area, it actually won't count. That only means that this area and this area was covered. This area and this back area wasn't. So if you have to cleanse the ghost with a smudge stick, if this didn't work, then you can come over here. You could start here and work your way back to this corner, and eventually you're gonna get it. But like I said, if you wanted to hunt, then you can get the cleanse. You can get the cleanse objective while it's hunting. So yeah, so that basically covers how to fill the book, getting interaction photos and possible fingerprint photos from the door. Like I said, on this one here, we took a picture of the door and we only got an interaction. So that helped me rule out fingerprints. Also, because the ghost is boring, like we were in there talking, we were doing stuff, and the ghost did absolutely nothing. There's your tell sign of a shade. Probably one of the most boringest ghosts that you can possibly deal with. So that kind of goes over the optional objectives. As you can see, I crossed all mine off. If you were to be having to escape the ghost or repel the ghost, those are stuff that I'm going to be covering in the next episode. But hopefully you guys have been enjoying Phasmophobia. In the comments, leave a like and tell me what your favorite ghost or favorite Phasmo experience is. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in episode 5. Bye for now.